Today I was digging through my cellar and I rediscovered an old friend. Yeah, that's a scorpion. I'll talk about that later. It's one of my first bottles of mead. I made this 12 years ago. Joe's Ancient Orange. It was the most popular beginner mead recipe at the time, and 12 years later, still is the most popular beginner mead recipe. And since 2009, I've fallen down the rabbit hole. I've been collecting all kinds of honey, and I get pretty crazy with submitting things to competitions. It's just a wonderful hobby. I'm going to go ahead and make this again, but what I'm going to do this time is do the original batch as written, exactly as written, and the second batch is going to be almost exactly as written except for one detail that's different that I'm going to change. It's a very important detail that I'll talk about later, but it's going to vastly improve this mead. When I first started in 2009, I made 3 batches of this stuff. One of the batches got dumped, the other 2 ended up okay, but I lost interest really quick in mead and I went into homebrewing because I loved beer. A year or 2 later, I went to a homebrew club meeting, and people had mead at this homebrew club, so I sampled a few, and those meads blew my mind. I could not believe how good they were. And they talked to me about the ways that you can make really good mead at home. You don't have to buy expensive equipment or expensive ingredients. It's just a matter of tweaking a couple different things. A beginner can do it. It's super easy. Jumping right into it, the batch on the left is going to be Joe's Ancient Orange exactly as written. The batch on the right is going to be the same, except for my one modification to the recipe. Sanitation is very important. I'm sanitizing everything with Star San. You can use whatever honey you like. I'm using some fancy macadamia nut honey. Getting back to why I'm doing this Joe's Ancient Orange recipe. After making my first meads 12 years ago, I quit making mead. I wasn't very impressed with the results. I had to dump one batch. I really thought I didn't like mead. And if I never went to that homebrew club meeting, I would have never discovered what mead could potentially taste like. And I get a lot of comments and requests and messages asking how do I get started in mead making. And I also get a lot of questions from first-time mead makers saying my first mead tastes like nail polish or jet fuel. Sadly, this hobby has a high failure rate. Under those circumstances, a lot of people just give up this hobby. And I just want to increase your chances of having a wonderful mead on your first try. So back to the recipe, it says wash your oranges well and cut into eighths. Push them right into the carboy. This is the first thing that bothers me about the recipe. That orange pith, the white part that's going to come through in your mead, nobody likes that. I recommend juicing the orange, putting the juice in, and then peeling the rind or zesting it. It's going to be so much better.